Alethophobia, fear of the truth, dread, uncovering true nature of things. You might have an undiagnosed case of alethophobia. This phobia can manifest as an aversion to confronting personal truths, fear of transparency in relationships, or reluctance to face facts that challenge one's beliefs. This phobia is on display when people avoid conversations or situations where truth is likely to be revealed, opting instead for denial or ignorance to maintain a sense of safety. Think about the Catholic Church, where we know there are reports of child abuse, child sexual assault, but it's just covered up. There is no public display that I know of where they reprimand and put those people, those priests who have done this harm to children, they don't put them away. They don't release statements saying that these people have been charged and they're in jail, they're in prison, or they're given a death penalty, which I think is the only solution. You hear nothing about that. Or what about all these pastors that's been molesting children, that's been stealing their I would say their congregation's wealth or lack thereof, it stealing their last dime? You don't hear anything about that. Or what about in different Islamic institutions, whether it be the country or different denominations of sects? There is a lot of indiscretion, specifically concerning young girls. You have child brides, you have young girls or women who are beaten or raped either because they're not wearing something that they think that is okay, because a lot of Islamic people believe, okay, if you're not dressed a certain way, I have the right to touch you. I have the right to do something wrong against you. You don't see these type of people brought to justice. Why not? Because it has not been about the truth. The truth has not been something that everyone has had to rely on in order to come to conclusions. As long as you're the people in power, whether it be white people when they are in power, whether it be black men when they're in power, whether it be men in general when they're in power, whether it be Arab people when they're in power, it has never been about the truth. It's always been about, if you are not in power, then you have to do right, or you have to stick to the laws and rules. But if you are in power, or if you resemble the people that are in power, okay, well then you're case dismissed. You made an error. Don't do it again, unless you call on Jesus, or unless you call on Allah, or unless you donate to something, do some charity. But if women are overly crucified globally for doing something wrong that most of the time a man can do, and it's a slap on the wrist, he may get talked about for a few days, a few weeks, a few months even. But you're not deemed as enemy number one unless you do something to another man, like a more so a male group that's in power. So understand, if you are a truth teller, or if you're someone that's telling the truth, you're going to be ridiculed. Just like today with the homosexual rampant displays of demonic possession, where we now have to call people by their delusional idea of what they think they are. You have to call someone who clearly has a beard and has a deep voice, deeper than yours, a woman. Or you have to call someone who clearly has breasts and a lower voice, a lower octave. You recognize that it was a woman as soon as you heard the person speak, but you have to call this person a man. Or you have to accept men in women's spaces like restrooms or gyms that are made for women. Or you have to accept them in your sports. This is ridiculous. But a lot of these people, where they narrate this transphobia, they're using the word wrong. Or homophobia, they're using that word wrong. No one will, a lot of people are not afraid of people that are homosexuals. They're not afraid of people that are trans. It's maybe an annoyance, and some people may be bigoted, and some people may be prejudiced. But it's not a fear, like a jump scare, like you would do with a spider or a snake. Some people have those types of fears. It's really, people just don't like to be forced into doing something that they don't agree with. And a lot of these people who classify themselves as homosexuals or trans people, they're actually alethophobic. Alethophobia. Alethophobiac. Alethophobiac. Alethophobiacs. They fear the truth. And as soon as you mention the truth, they go crazy. Think about a child, what a child first sees. A child doesn't have to be taught to lie. Excuse me, a child doesn't have to be taught to tell the truth if they were brought and raised to tell the truth. But when you get them in school, you have to allow them to lie. You have to really teach them to be quiet or allow lies to be told so that they can go through school. I remember going through school as a child. We weren't taught about Santa Claus, but we were told, don't you tell other children that Santa Claus doesn't exist. You got to keep that a secret. Why? Why y'all lying to children? That makes no sense. If your parents want to buy you a gift, let them buy you. They can buy you a gift. Why do they have to create a lie behind it? And as a child, I remember being taught to be quiet. When people would say, well, I'm getting this for Christmas, or Santa Claus this, and I'm a child, like, I know this ain't real. And it just makes me see adults in a whole different way. I really never trusted adults after learning how much they lie to children. And I always said I would never do something like that. You are in a world where lies are the order of the day. They're more common than the truth. A lot of people built their career off of lies, whether it's in blue collar work. You can lie on your resume. You can lie as a manager. You can lie as the transportation officer. You can say that you have XYZ skills. When they put you in a job, you don't have those skills. You can say you went to X and Y school, when, if research was ever done, they found out you never went to such school. But lying is okay because no one's going to check. As long as you check people's boxes, you don't have to worry about the truth being found out about. That's the same thing with a lot of these religious institutions. You don't have to actually be a moral person to be a pastor or a minister or a priest. You have to just be someone that sounds like they know what they're talking about, and they can get into a position. A lot of Christianity, this person has to go to a school, learn this doctrine, get indoctrinated with this doctrine, and now they're qualified to teach. But no one is determined whether they're moral or not. To be a priest or a pastor, you don't have to be moral. You just have to know the game. You have to know the words to say. You have to know how to pull people in. And a lot of this is based on personality. People like to listen to people based on their personality. People want to know what you look like. Let me see if this person got her hair done, got her nails done. Let me see if this person looks like how I want them to look. Let me see if this person has been to this place. People aren't concerned with the truth. They're concerned with your aesthetic. They're concerned with your personality. All of these things have allowed people to continue to be alethophobiacs. Alethophobics in the mind, in the spirit, in the physical realm. And they will not listen to truth, even when it comes to them. They won't even reason through something that could be the truth. If you tell them something outside of that which they think they know, or they believe that they know, you can't tell them nothing. And be very careful about people who have belief. Belief is not a fact. Belief is not the truth. Belief is just something that you think you know based on what you've been told, what you've thought of, or what you have heard someone else say. You could have overheard wrong. Belief contains lies. The truth is the truth. Belief is belief. Don't operate off of belief. You hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm a believer." Well, in my opinion, you're a liar because you really don't know what you're telling me. You know, you just believe it. And if all you have is belief, you can't teach me about your belief. I can have my own belief system. That don't make it truth. This phobia can be overcome with therapy and gradual exposure to the truth in a controlled and supportive environment. If you don't get help for this phobia, you are walking around with a psychiatric disorder.
Alethophobia. Do you have it? Yeah. Do you have it? Yeah. Do you have it? Yeah. Do you have it?